Welcome my friends, this is Maniacal Incorporated making the final preparations for the crusade for Jerusalem, which will kick off in 5 months' time. We've started up a boot sale to raise funds for the fighting forces. Everything must go, the kitchen sink, even the mother. We're going to marry our mother, Gunhilda, to a very high prowess knight, Muel Brazil Conon, as he will be known, no doubt, when he arrives in Ireland. It'll be a matrilineal marriage. She's in her mid-60s. But Brazil Conan is no doubt thinking of the prestige that he will receive. He will basically become our highest ranking knight and commander. He is a blade master. So entirely possible that we are hiring this man to lead the Irish forces in the crusade. I'm going to send that proposal. We have our intrigue window opened up because we remember a very interesting character. We're pretty badly caught for knights down around the lower numbers. So even though he's average, I still think he'll actually make it into the list, and if nothing else, he does have that military engineer trait that we are lacking. We have one military engineer. Should something happen to them, we might be in a bit of trouble. The other thing that he has is a taste for human flesh. This was one of the characters that we discovered in the French court that utterly disgusted us. But no doubt, in this time of need, not alone is it the need of the Kingdom of Ireland, but the need of Christendom itself, God will see fit to forgive the sins of any man, no matter how heinous they are, who will travel to the Holy Land and fight in the name of God and Christendom. So we're going to blackmail him, bring him to our court, get a hook in him, use that to bring him to our court. He's thinking about it, and shove him into the army and send him off to die for God. We have been told that we have gotten that blackmail hook on Ferrand, who's just disappeared, and here is the acceptance of the marriage between our mother and Brazil Conan, who has arrived at our court and will become a knight. The other thing I have done is the 15-year-old daughter of Leinchuk. I have organised a matrilineal marriage between her and a high prowess knight. She's turning 16 in June, which is when that knight will arrive at our court. So most likely, even though the crusade will have broken out by then, we're probably going to have to wait for Leinchuk's daughter's sweet 16th. And have a big party. And this is a measure of how bad things are getting. Here is a very low prowess figure who was imprisoned in the recent Scottish rebellion. I've recruited him to court. And actually here is Leon, who is betrothed to Dov Lemna, Nick Leinchuk. So we'll be all waiting for her 16th birthday. Oh boys, what a night that'll be. Here is Ferrand. He loves drinking. He loves eating. He loves baiting himself with a whip. We have used that hook to invite him to our court. So we can now actually take a look at what the knight list looks like. So, Muel Brazil Conon, commanding with an absolutely astounding 30. And let's see how we're looking down at the bottom. You can see indeed that Ferrand will go into the army, and he doesn't even displace Cain of de Hybert. Did we have another figure? So I have hired this guy. He's brave. He's not putting on any big metal hat. There's Kosna is still in there. There is Ferrand. There's Cain. And the new mayor of Carrickfergus is actually in the army, and there's Cunon. So here is the guy that we recruited from Scotland there recently. So we still have a couple of people that we could push down the list. There's a couple of low figures here. I would like if we could get everybody into the tens, but yeah, if you have to go and fight and die in Jerusalem, do you know what? It's better than what you be getting up to. It's better than what you be getting up to. Now, he might be a cannibal, but we'd better still get a wife for him. Here is a high military or high martial figure who is currently a guest of our daughter's future father-in-law, King Louis, who actually broke off our attempts to sway him in the last episode. And for Triple B, or BB Gun, or if you can think of any other nicknames for him, because I'm not too sure how his first name would be pronounced, we will marry him off as well to a high martial figure who is impatient, just like him. So the two of them can be impatient together. And the other update that we are going to be waiting on is Queen Peggy. So we recently just fought a war to maintain her grasp of Scotland as a puppet government. That's going to be worrying when we head off. Will Scotland be able to defend itself? Its forces aren't exactly up to anything that respectful at the moment. But she is pregnant, and in 2 months we will hopefully see a new Dál Fiatach heir to the Scottish throne. Or not. Alliance expired. Your sister-in-law, Peggy, died in childbirth. And so the scenario that we were kind of fearing has happened. Bridget, at 3 years of age, is now the Queen of Scotland. Well, no, I should change what I just said there. We've won. We've gotten a member of the Dál Fiatach on the Scottish throne. This is perfect. This is what we always wanted. So this is a bit problematic. And I don't think we have any other choice. We don't really have any other options, unfortunately, to secure Dál Fiatach control in Scotland. We're now in a succession crisis. What perfect timing. We're trying to make plans for a sweet 16th here, and we are in a succession crisis. I don't think we have much of an option. It's not what I wanted. We could marry off our nephews. It's the same difference, really. It's going to be the same difference. We will marry our son, Prince Crusader of Ireland, to his cousin, our niece, Queen Bridget of Scotland. So at the very least, we now have an alliance with Scotland. Worst comes to worst, Bridget is going to turn 16, I think, in 13 years' time, so we have that length of time to consider maybe finding another member of the family. I don't know what we would do in that scenario. Try and convince a more distantly related member of the Dál Fiatach to travel to our court and marry them to Bridget. This is not a great time to be dealing with a succession crisis. And speaking of crises, Duke Kane. Apparently we found that he owes us more money. Absolutely, he must pay his due. We will get 100 stewardship lifestyle, 78% that he will pay us 30. Absolutely. You give me money. Our secondary wife, Uladh, who became pregnant just after the declaration of the crusade, or on the announcement that there would be a crusade, has given us a daughter who has the albino trait, Eugenia. May you grow to be strong and wise. I'm wondering if we need to set the Spymaster on you. The crusade for Jerusalem begins. This is not exactly the position I expected to be in. The time has finally come to bring St. George's holy wrath against the vile infidels of Jerusalem. Inflamed by righteous fury and unyielding resolve, the great army of crusaders assembled by Pope Ioannis XX sets forth to deliver divine justice upon the wicked and earn their place in heaven. We have a birthday party coming up. So I'll be with you if you give me just about 5 minutes. Just hold on. There's a cake. We've it all planned. It's fine. We'll be there in a minute. Day's fault. We will need to keep the finances stabilised while we're on this war, so we will continue down the architect tree to try to get the stewardship bonus from the architect perk itself. Popular opinion will hopefully stave off any uprisings by the peasantry. The other thing I have done is I have brought our spymaster back from the Vatican. While we were able to send her there, and we have found a secret, we're not actually able to demand anything. The people there in the Vatican are too far away to talk to, so I have brought her closer to home, i.e. Ulster. There's a small bit of suspicion around our wife, Anla, but I'm sure it's nothing. And as we wait for a birthday party, we're already seeing anarchy in Sweden. The person who Sweden, or one of the two Swedish powers, was going to install has died of internal injuries. So I'm not too sure was that actually in Sweden itself. We are getting a pop-up that Dov Lemna, who has come of age and has the Hail trait. She is now eligible to marry Leon, who has the Hail trait. We will send that proposal. And there he is. He is in our court. Excellent. And here are your holy knights of the Kingdom of Ireland. Moel Brassel Conon with 30 prowess. Leon with 20, so the two of them have gone in at the head of the army. There's Filbert, a long-serving knight who often goes a bit under the radar. Skloiga, our military engineer. There's that divil, Laura. Leinchuk is still doing well, 51 years of age. Olgarg, who one of the newer knights who joined along with Brennan and Skloiga, and had a kill in the defense against Iceland. Kalagrua. So he was, we were told that he would serve as a good commander. We got him just as a pop-up arrived at our court. I have dragged him in and married him off to somebody. Phelimid of the Rins of Galloway. There's Gillicullum, our beneficiary for this war, down towards the bottom of the list of knights. Kosana, a rebel leader from many... Was it many generations ago, or was it only a couple of years ago? I can't remember at this stage. And there is that cannibal. And Cain, just barely getting into the list. Do we want to send Cain? It's either Cain, Congus, or Cunon. Do I really want to send him? Do you know what? No, you don't deserve to go. Congus, you're not great either. Cunon, is Cunon badly injured? He is. Well, it looks like it falls to you, Triple B. I really didn't think we'd be sending you, but there you go. And so with the Knights of the Kingdom in place, we will raise our armies. They will form in 3 separate places. We will, might as well bring them all to Dublin. And we're losing 3.7 gold per turn. So we have a bit of a gold reserve. We'll see what secrets we can find. I don't think we'll be doing any construction projects or making any artifacts for quite a lengthy period of time. For now, we will set sail for Alexandria. We're told that Gillicullum has just had a daughter, and look at him in his finery. This is the first time that I've ever actually taken part in a crusade in CK3, because I have usually stayed as insular Christian. But look at him in all his finery. So this is his third daughter, and he has two twin sons, of course, who will maybe one day fight over the Kingdom of Jerusalem if we manage to install him. Like I said, we're setting sail for Alexandria. We're seeing the Pope's forces coming in. We're going to see where exactly he lands to start with. Alarmed by the birth of an albino child, we believe that maybe our wife Anla was cheating on us. We brought our spymaster back from Rome to investigate, but she has found something much worse. Duke Kane schemed to have Alice murdered. We can see here that Alice is dying, and she has been dying for a considerable period of time because she died in 1128 under mysterious circumstances. Alice, of course, was deposed by Kane. And here is Alice's daughter, who is married to Lachlan, a distant member of the family. They didn't have any children, which is a pity. What are we going to do with you? We've learned his secret. I think for now we will hold that secret, but we could very well use it against him at some stage. I think what we're going to do is try and land our forces here in the north of Israel as well, because there is a 17k army wandering around. And of course, this is the problem. This is the problem. We are being called on to honor an alliance. Prince Stephen, Flora's father, I imagine, is being supported actually by Magnus, which would be Peggy's... This is a different Magnus. Oh, it's the House of Dunkeld. I'm lost. I'm basically lost as to who all these people are. Damn them all, what a time. We're going to have to come in and join as a defender, but I don't know if there's much we can do. And it's entirely possible that we won't have to do anything. King Halstein of Sweden has come into the war. I did see a while ago that Dinarthuk, Bridget's father, was betrothed to the 13-year-old daughter of King Halstein. I thought that was a bit of a strange choice, but you know what? It looks to have paid off because he has 3,500 troops. He is not involved in the crusade, and he has just joined. So it's entirely possible that Dinarthuk, now that his wife is dead, is going to look to building stronger relations with the Norwegians than with us, possibly, to break out from our grasp. There isn't a lot that we can do at the moment, because we are currently off the coast of Spain. And the other major issue is that the Pope's army, I think, is about to be wiped out here in Jerusalem. 22,000 troops. Yeah, that doesn't look great. So we're going to have to reassess what's happening there. My God, if the Pope has to march all the ways back to Italy from there, it's going to be a while before he's back. Technically, we should have this thing in the bag. We have double the forces. Close to double the forces, but I'm not too sure who's actually coming in, who's actually risen their armies and is sending them in. We get a nice front row seat there next to the King of Poland. But yeah, we have our forces are just, I think, to the south of Italy. There we are. And there's a bit of a hodgepodge group here. The Pope has turned around and is coming back. So if everybody could join up, that would be fantastic. Nope, the Pope's leaving. Oh, this family. Here is Derley, or Der-Ile. She is the daughter of Ben Ulla and Finlay. So, Ben Ulla, pants on fire. Der-Ile, pants on fire. She is married to Leinchuk, their son, or her son I should say, Conon, is not Leinseach's son, but she has had a number of daughters and a son, all members of House O'Rourke, but we're being told that Ban Meath has disputed heritage. Maybe we should take you on the crusade. Even with Sweden's overwhelming manpower, it's still only a slight military advantage, and of course the 2,500 to 3,000 troops of the Irish are at the other side of the world. And the worst news is, there you can see a cage around a small baby. Bridget has been captured. There is now a 100% war score to reinstall Prince Stephen as the King of Scotland. Flora has actually died at some stage. Died from being ill. And so now we are going to see the succession disputed again. He does have 2 younger sons. But yeah, it looks like they're going to be in a position quite shortly to actually enforce their demands and to reinstall Stephen as the King of Scotland. And no doubt this scene is a great embarrassment to Lieb, who thought that he had everything planned out so meticulously. A man who believed that he was the commander and leader of the Gaelic world. And the puppet regime that he installed in Scotland has come crashing down, predominantly because of the sudden death of Peggy in childbirth. For an ever so slight period of time, we did indeed have a Dál Fiatach ruler in Scotland. Bridget now controls either 2 counties or a duchy in a county. I actually forget. She is still set to be married to our son, Crusader. We're going to have to reassess that. But undoubtedly, once we have concluded this crusade one way or another, we are going to have to return to affairs in Scotland. So there is anarchy over here. There is a hefty defensive army after going in against the Pope. I'm not too sure, are people coming to aid him? They are indeed, so we're going to send our forces down. Not so sure that's a great idea. Numbers are coming in piecemeal. Yeah, that might not be a great idea. Our wife, our secondary wife, Uladh, has given birth to a child, Cronon, after our father. May you grow to be strong and wise, my son. And one of our knights has gained the scholarly trait. I think we're going to have to reassess. And we might indeed turn around and move back north. But no doubt those forces will be coming in our direction. In desperate need of cash, we have bribed Orthacoin. We have discovered that he had an illegitimate child. We're doing a bit of a runner. There were some forces that I'd actually forgotten to enlist in Wales. We're trying to make a run for it. We've just gotten out. Thank you very much, Leicestershire. They're going to hold up some 26,000 troops while we get to Antioch, merge our 2 armies. Eodomir has passed away. Speaking of Orthacoin, his great enemy. One of our brothers has had a son, Lorcan, strong, wise, etc., etc. There is Mayor Congus of Carrickfergus, who we hired in the last episode to replace the Burkes of Carrickfergus. We will assign him as our new steward. What I will do at some stage is I will see how the affairs in Leinster now look on the death of the Countess of Ossory. And what I might do is I might give the 2 ducal titles to Orthacoin and demand money for that bribe in return. Now, let's see what kind of issue is going on here. I think our forces are kind of split in too many directions. There's not a whole heap that we can do. So at the moment it does indeed look as though our entire contribution is going to be running away We've made it as far as Aleppo. I don't know if any armies have actually landed to the south and started sieging places. They have indeed. The Pope has 5,000 troops. There's another 2,700 coming in. We still have overwhelming numbers, but it's just trying to get them together. Guys, we need to work together. I think rather foolishly, some of the groups were considering giving battle. Again, against a 25k army, I don't think there's a huge lot that can be done with the numbers that we have in this region, so we're going to try to get out. It's going to be pricey, but if we can get to the other side of the war effort, get maybe down into Jerusalem, as long as we don't get caught by the actual withdrawing army. Here is the wife of one of the knights that we hired for this war, which is not going very well. So he's gotten himself a Crusader trait, and she has gotten herself a Deviancy trait. And we just managed to withdraw safely, so that army has only lost about 1,000 men. We're gonna bring our army down, probably to Gaza. For now, Ferrant the Cannibal will be put in charge of the siege of Gaza. We're getting a letter in the midst of all this from our son-in-law, who is looking, I think, to learn Goidelic. He has studied Goidelic for many moons, and he has pinned this missive using the Goidelic script. I wish for our future diplomatic dealings to benefit us both greatly. Absolutely fair play to him. He's going to become our friend. And we're getting more poems. Our wife, who is wounded, I'm not too sure, was there some battle going on in Connacht? Your masculinity is what gives meaning to my life. I would be blessed if I could be by your side, that I may know the warmth of your embrace. You and I together is what makes the sun move in the sky. I thought she was actually asking to come out on crusade, so we'll gain 10 opinion. It's a lovely poem. We're making no progress here. And if our wife is wounded, maybe she could do with a physician. We usually get in trouble for these. I would like to take this 300 stewardship lifestyle, but look at those 4 physician numbers. She is 55. Dovdeal, do you know what? We will hire her. We will lose 100 piety. We will gain stress because we're zealous. I think we might be losing a bit of faith in the progress of this war and the ability of the Pope to command these armies. A witch, you say? I could use a new doctor. Now, as we begin to make progress in Gaza, some forces have actually come in against us. Fantastic! We're actually going to do some battle. That is absolutely brilliant. However, it does look as though that overwhelming army is going to crush the Vatican forces, and it's going to move down south in our direction. We have found out more things about courtiers. Agnes is a courtier, and that there's bold shenanigans going on here, as it may very well be the only battle that we actually fight out here. Everyone has gotten their uniforms. Look at all the fancy clothes everyone has put on them. Ferrant savagely killed one of the defenders, and Moel Brazil Conon. So there we go. We were giving out about Ferrant. Do you know what he's probably doing? He's probably doing the best work out of anyone. I'd be wondering if maybe the Papal Army that's landing, the 1,700 troops, might get caught in that 22,000 force that's coming down. If not, we will have to pull out, because we're not going to be able to... I'd say we're going to have to make a run for it. Well, at the very least, we're going to get back all the money that we spent on this thing. Ask for gold, and we will get 247. He has a fairly high opinion of us. We're making a run into Egypt. May the funds bring you victory. Yeah, thanks for that. We are making a run into Egypt. I'm hoping that some forces are going to block our retreat. Thanks very much, guys. Thanks a million for that. I was hoping that we might be able to, again, do pretty much the same thing if we could get up here and join up with these armies. So we'll try to get to here and then out to sea. So we are indeed becoming suspicious of the wife of the Queen of Connacht. I think we will have to ask her, do you have another? I think we're suspicious of both of our wives now, are we? She's been distant lately. So we'll ask her that. How can you say such a thing? I have little choice but to take her word. Nothing immediate happens. I think we're just going to try to siege down this region, because what we are seeing is the forces are here. I think everyone's leaving. I was hoping that these guys were going to come down. I'm not too sure what anyone is doing. Tuatha, engaged to the future king of Aquitaine, has come of age. They grow up so fast. I don't think she got any fantastic traits. Oh my god, this woman that we hired because she was a witch doctor practices witchcraft. This is absolutely shocking. And it is a defeat. We were just about to siege down an area. Will you not let me siege down anything? We have lost the war, led by Pope Ioannis the 20th. No titles change hands. 4,416 divided amongst the participants. Your contribution was lower, so we gained nothing. I think we were in third position. So be it. Broken Cross, the warriors of St. George found only death and humiliation at the gates of Jerusalem. The crusade, so eagerly called and supported by Pope Ioannis, ended in a disastrous defeat that has only hurt the cause of the faithful. This will surely embolden more blasphemers and infidels to further stray from Catholicism. St. George has abandoned us. So, I think it goes without saying that for Ireland, that crusade was an absolutely tremendous success. We lost no knights. They've all gotten these fancy new helmets. Look at that. Martial, +2. Prowess, +3. We've nearly doubled the amount of money we had when we started the actual fighting. We're back to where we were when the crusade itself was called. And we all got suntans. We all got to see another part of the world. We had a great old time. Okay, we've lost Scotland. Yes, that's not great. But you know how that old saying goes, if at first you don't succeed, invite the sister of the dead Queen of Scotland to your court, and see if you can maybe do all that all over again. With the money that we got from the Pope, we are going to expand the pastoral lands. Or can we expand the lands here on the Royal Reserve? We can't. We need windmills innovations. So that's something we will need to look into. So we'll go for the pastoral lands and upgrade that. We're going to come to the courtiers, and we are going to replace our poor witch doctor with our good witch doctor. And we'll finally sort out Orthacoin. I am going to grant him, as Duke of Meath, I'm going to grant him both Ossory and Dublin. So on his death, the Duchy of Leinster will be created, I hope, and split off from the Duchy of Meath. So we will give him Ossory. We will give him Dublin. And then we will use our hook on him to demand. We could either modify his contract, or just demand a flat payment. I think we're going to take the money. We're going to take the money and run. And as we settle back in at home after our return from the crusade, we can see a cabinet there in the background. Mordecai has become inspired to build another cabinet. He loves cabinets. But members of my court are celebrating how great the swan and the pudding tastes. We can lose a bit of stress, and I think we will, because we hired a witch doctor, and because of our zealousness, we've gained some stress. So we're going to ask, mind if I join you for some roast swan? And with a variety of wars brought to an end throughout the kingdom, there it is, the crest of the Kingdom of Ireland, that's us. We're going to enforce high crown authority, so vassals won't be too happy, but we will get increased vassal levies and feudal vassal tax contributions, and I think it will actually prevent the vassals from going to war. So now that we've gotten a couple of things sorted out, we've been able to do this with a while, but we're just going to enact that now and look at basically preserving the borders and the rulers that we have at the moment. Having lost control of Scotland, having lost the crusade, Uí must reassert his power and authority in the region. We are going to do two more things. We're going to come to the court of Duke Cain, and we know that he murdered Alice, who we seized this region for. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and figure out how to blackmail him. I've done this about 20 times. So we're going to blackmail him so we don't reveal his murder secret. Here is his fiancée, Ban Muin of Munster. So he's looking to build a lot of Irish alliances. And the very last thing that we're going to do, the court is looking a bit sparse. We could benefit maybe from another secondary spouse. And Uí Néill has come to the conclusion that if you want a job done, you have to do it yourself. We will take Uladh, heir to the Kingdom of Scotland, as a secondary wife. And no doubt you can see what all this is leading to. Thank you for joining me on this episode, and I hope you will join me on the next one when we put all those new Crusader traits to the test.